Welcome to the presentation on Cyber Threat Intelligence Plan, which I affectionately equate to preparing for the unknown unknowns. My name is Kent Yang, and I'm a grad student for the University of San Diego in the Masters of Cybersecurity Operations and Leadership program. Here are some alarming statistics facing cybersecurity professionals today. According to Cybersecurity Ventures, cybercrime will cost the world $6 trillion by 2021. By 2021, a business will fall victim to ransomware every 11 seconds. In 2023 alone, cyber criminals will steal over 33 billion records. Americans stand to lose 15 billion annually due to identity theft. It takes 196 days on average to identify a data breach. As alarming as these statistics are, they are an outcry for companies to prepare for the unknown unknowns. In cybersecurity, that is the Cyber Threat Intelligence Plan. According to the SANS Institute, only 28% surveyed organizations have a dedicated cyber threat intelligence team. What is cyber threat intelligence? Instead of a reactive approach to cybersecurity, cyber threat intelligence takes a proactive approach to cybersecurity. At the core of the Cyber Threat Intelligence Plan is a process defined by the Cyber Threat Intelligence Cycle. The Cyber Threat Intelligence Cycle is a repeatable process that starts with the planning and direction step, which sets the requirements that define the scope of cyber threat intelligence gathering. Second, data is collected from various sources to help address the question posed in the requirement step. Third, highly trained analysts filter and process the data into a usable form. Fourth, specialized analysts analyze the processed data to address the questions posed in the requirement step to develop actionable recommendations. Fifth, disseminate the results and gaps to stakeholders or decision makers. Lastly, like agile process in software development, continual feedback from the decision makers in the entire process is necessary to adjust and refine the process for current and future iterations of the cyber threat intelligence cycle. This presentation will begin by performing a business case analysis on Twilio, the leader in communication platform as a service, business sector. The presentation then performs an adversarial assessment and defines the gaps addressed by the Cyber Threat Intelligence Plan. Furthermore, the paper will review the possible impacts of not having a Cyber Threat Intelligence Plan by performing a post-mortem analysis of the most destructive cyber attack in history, the Mazarek ransomware attack. Finally, the paper summarizes a risk reduction plan that incorporates SMART elements: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Twilio is the market leader in the communication platform as a service business. Twilio leads the industry in revenue at $2.5 billion. According to the Business Chronicler, Twilio's market opportunities are estimated to be worth $53 billion. In the first step of the cyber intelligence cycle, identify what we are protecting so we can define the scope of our intelligence gathering. Twilio provides an API that allows developers to build, scale, and operate customer engagement within software applications. Twilio's API fuels future innovation in communication products from customers like Uber and Airbnb, just to name a few. Therefore, it is incumbent on Twilio to protect their most valued asset, the API. As reported by Security Boulevard, malicious traffic grew by a whopping 348% in 2021, with the attack surface identified as the need for cyber threat intelligence. Who are the potential threat actors and what are their motives? API attacks are low-hanging fruits for hackers, malware authors, and spammers because API accounts for 80% of the total internet traffic. 61% of businesses now rely on APIs for enabling platform or system integrations. According to Gartner's report, that API attacks will become the most frequent attack vector for enterprise web applications in 2022. API hacking for profit. The rapid rate companies adopt APIs for business-to-business integration has increased the surface area for attacks. Not all companies using Twilio's API have the budget or expertise for API security strategies, and hackers are quick to take advantage for profit. A successful attack can mean access to a lucrative communication resource. Broken authentication leads to access to sensitive client data to sell. Lack of rate limiting causes performance problems and potential denial of service attacks. Consider some potential scenarios for attacks by hackers, malware authors, and spammers. A nation-state hacker can leverage Twilio's API to disseminate propaganda to subvert elections. A malware author can use Twilio's API to distribute viruses. A spammer can leverage access to APIs to commit identity fraud without incurring financial costs. Here is a list of the top 3 API attack methods and security risks identified by the Open Web Application Security Project. Number 1, broken authentication involving user tokens, object identifiers, and functions leading to identity theft. Number 2, the excessive exposure of object properties leading to the exfiltration of sensitive data. Number 3, unmanaged resource usage or rate limiting leading to denial of service attacks. The biggest, most costly, and destructive cyber attack in history, NotPetya. Before we move on to the risk reduction plan, it is timely and appropriate to perform a post-mortem analysis of the Maersk ransomware attack, considering the current Russian invasion against Ukraine. Evaluation of notable security breaches on companies with similar profiles and technologies is vital to improving an organization's cyber threat security and cyber threat intelligence process. In the summer of 2017, the biggest, most costly, destructive cyber attack occurred when Russia launched NotPetya malware against Ukraine. Maersk, the largest shipping conglomerate globally, was one of the many victims caught in the crossfire of Russia's attack. The damages caused by NotPetya worldwide were estimated at $10 billion. Who were the attackers? The CIA assessed Russian military hackers were responsible for creating NotPetya malware and launching the cyber attack against Ukraine as part of Russia's cyber warfare campaign. The military hackers had lots of experience as they were hacking into the Ukrainian government and Ukrainian companies 2 years prior to launching the NotPetya attack on June 27, 2017. The hackers were highly skilled as they were able to leverage a NSA breach to learn about the inner workings of the penetration tool Eternal Blue, and then combine it with another penetration tool known as Mimikatz to create NotPetya. What were the attackers after? An act of war on Ukraine. The hackers were part of the Russian military spy unit. Cyber warfare was part of Russia's military campaign to destabilize Ukraine. Despite appearing to be ransomware, NotPetya was destructive malware intended to wipe data permanently from a system. It spread like wildfire. The Danish shipping conglomerate Maersk was a casualty of Russia's cyber war against Ukraine. Where could Maersk have been able to interdict the attackers? Hindsight is 2020. First, Microsoft had patches for the SMB protocol that NotPetya exploited through Eternal Blue. So had Maersk updated their computers with the Microsoft patches, they would have been able to interdict the attackers in the exploitation phase of the cyber kill chain. Second, Network segmentation could have limited access of NotPetya malware to spread from one network to another, and would have interdicted the attackers at step 5 of the cyber kill chain, installation phase. Lastly, according to Adam Banks, Maersk's head of technology, you have to assume that increasing number of state-level attacks are all going to be 100% successful. Banks believe that prevention is not an effective strategy, but automated detection and response are key. Despite the destruction that NotPetya has caused, Maersk has learned a very valuable and expensive $300 million lesson and has invested heavily in security. Risk reduction plan for Twilio. The post-mortem analysis of NotPetya attack is proof that state-sponsored adversaries like Russian hackers are more than capable of massively destructive cyber warfare. Additionally, considering the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the US imposing sanctions against Russia, the potential for cyber warfare against the West is highly likely. Twilio, the market leader in communication platform as a service, and Russia, looking for opportunities to attack against core infrastructures in business-to-business operations, will mean that Twilio will be a high-value target for Russian hackers. In conclusion, we will address the previously identified top security risks by the OWASP by recommending risk reduction using the SMART methodology: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Risk reduction 1. Broken authentication. Time, 4 weeks. Personnel, utilize technical support and customer relations personnel for the following tasks. Determine if clients use secure protocol HTTPS to ensure credentials are not sent in plain text. Determine if clients use OAuth 2.0 for machine-to-machine authorization to limit user credential exposure. Determine if clients' use of security tokens are kept on the server side and not on the client side. Risk reduction 2. Excessive exposure of object properties. Time within an agile software sprint, either 2, 3, or 4 weeks. Personnel, software development team. The software development team will identify APIs requiring more fine-grained control to limit access to sensitive data. They will also identify APIs needing role-based access to control access to sensitive data. Lastly, they will identify APIs needing to log access to sensitive data. Once identified, plan out additional sprints to implement deficiencies in future agile software sprints. Risk reduction 3. Unmanaged resource usage or rate limiting. Time, 4 weeks. Personnel, test team. The software test team will verify proportion access with availability, service level agreements on domestic versus international, and rates that communication APIs can be called or enforced. Lastly, connection resources are limited to a pre-allocated resource pool to prevent performance bottlenecks. Then work with the engineering team to plan out additional sprints to implement deficiencies in future agile sprints. In summary, cyber threat intelligence is a never-ending story. As the environment changes, such as Russia invading Ukraine, or the API expands due to growth leading to an increase in the surface area for attacks, cyber threat intelligence is a living and evolving process that undergoes constant refinement. For Twilio to continuously improve, they will need a cyber threat intelligence team to continually work to identify the gaps and work through the cyber threat intelligence cycle. This will help the overall cybersecurity team improve defense in layers to interdict attackers in multiple phases of the cyber kill chain. Furthermore, it will increase the cyber threat response when a breach occurs. As Adam Banks, the head of technology at Maersk, said, "You have to assume that increasing number of state-level attacks are all going to be 100% successful.